So, when Natsuki Subaru got dropped into a fantasy world, he didn't get super strength or some legendary sword. Nope. He got something way weirder and honestly, way more horrifying. Today, we're going to break down the one power that defines all of ReZero, return by death. And trust me, it's so much more of a curse than a gift.
Yeah, let's just get this out of the way right now. This is not a cheat code. It's not a power-up. Return by Death is a psychological battlefield. It throws Subaru into this brutal, non-stop war. And the main enemy? It's not some monster. It's his own mind.
You know how most isekai stories go, right? The hero shows up, becomes the chosen one, gets awesome powers, and saves the day. Well, Subaru's reality just shatters that completely. He doesn't get power, he gets pain. The whole isekai dream turns into a recurring nightmare, where the hero's journey is literally paved with his own dead bodies.
So to really get why this is so awful, you gotta understand the rules of the game. And let me tell you, the mechanics of this misery are, well, they're incredibly specific and just plain cruel.
Okay, so what is Return by Death? Basically, it's a power or an authority given to him by the Witch of Envy, Satella. Whenever Subaru dies, and he dies a lot, time instantly resets to some random save point. But here's the kicker, the really twisted part. He's the only one who remembers any of it. For everybody else, it just never happened. And this is the loop, the brutal cycle he's trapped in. He goes through some unforeseen, usually horrible death. Bam, he's instantly reset to a checkpoint. He remembers everything, every single painful detail. But the rest of the world, they have no clue. Just think about that for a second. The mental toll of reliving your own death while no one else even knows it happened. But if you think that's bad, here comes the absolute worst part. The one rule that turns this whole thing from a terrible burden into a full-blown psychological prison. He can never, ever tell anyone about it. And what happens if he tries? The consequences are insane. The Witch of Envy's invisible hand literally squeezes his heart. There was one time he tried to tell Amelia, and it killed her instead. Plus, it amps up this witch factor, which is basically a beacon for deadly monsters. So trying to get help, it could literally get everyone he cares about killed. This rule is designed to keep him completely alone. So we've talked about the physical pain, but that's only half the story. The real damage, the thing that fractures his mind, is that isolation. This is the heart of it. Right here, the world gets a do-over, but his mind doesn't. He carries the ghosts of countless failed timelines. He's seen his friends die in the worst ways imaginable, felt his own life slip away, and he has to carry all of that by himself.
And you can literally watch his psyche crumble over time. In Arc 1, it's just helplessness and shock. By Arc 2, that's turned into paranoia and distrust. Arc 3, that's when he hits utter despair. And by Arc 4, he's kind of reached this fractured acceptance of his horrible reality. Every single arc just piles on more trauma.
It's so true. He isn't just fighting monsters and cultists, he's fighting his own mind. He has all the classic signs of PTSD, constantly reliving these horrific events. And on top of that, he's got this crushing survivor's guilt because in his mind, he's the only one who keeps surviving these disasters. You know, there's this concept called ego death, where your sense of who you are just completely shatters. For Subaru, that's not a metaphor. It happens literally. The version of him that was a naive kid thinking he was the hero, that guy died early on. The version that was arrogant and thought he could outsmart fate, he died too, painfully. Each time, a piece of him is destroyed.
Okay, but here's the big twist, the central paradox of the whole story. This absolute nightmare of a curse, it's also the only thing that lets him become the savior.
It's this incredible duality. On one side, he's the victim, reliving endless pain, totally alone, his sense of self constantly fracturing. But then, look at the other side. He's the savior. Because of those deaths, he gets critical intel. He can predict enemy movements. He can figure out how to orchestrate these impossible victories for everyone.
In the show, they call this future recollection. It's basically weaponized trauma. He's using the memories of all those horrible failed futures to build a strategy. He's not some super genius tactician, but if you let him die enough times, he can piece together the one-in-a-million path to success. And does it work? Oh yeah, it works. We're talking at least 6 major world-ending level threats that he's been key in defeating. These are threats that legendary heroes and powerful knights couldn't handle, and he did it by being willing to die and die and die again.
I mean, just look at this list. The white whale, Betelgeuse, the great rabbit. These are legendary monsters and villains. People failed for generations to stop them. And Subaru, this totally normal guy with zero fighting skills, he's the one who orchestrates their defeat. How? Through sheer, agonizing, painful repetition.
So where does that leave us? This power is both a blessing and a curse. What's the point of it all? Well, I think the answer is that for Subaru, winning isn't really the point.
His real strength isn't magical. It's just human perseverance taken to its absolute extreme. His power isn't rewinding time. It's his refusal to stay down. He's not fearless. He's terrified every single time. But he gets back up anyway. And that's a kind of strength that's way more real.
So what does he learn from all this? The goal isn't just about the victory. It's about endurance. All that suffering, it forges this iron will to protect others. It teaches him to value every single happy moment because he knows better than anyone how fragile it all is. A brutal curse ends up building an unshakable heart.
You know, in the end, return by death tears him apart, breaks him down to nothing. But from that curse, Subaru builds something that's absolutely unshakable. And it's not power, it's not glory, it's a heart that just refuses to surrender. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. We usually define heroes by their strength or their big wins, but Subaru's whole story poses a much harder question. A question for all of us, really. How many times could you die for someone else? How many times could you watch it all go wrong and still find the strength to try just one more time?